Well, my name is Alan Emtage. I created the first internet search engine back in 1989. I was working as a graduate student at McGill University in Montreal, and I was also working as a system administrator for the same School of Computer Science that I was studying at. And one of my responsibilities was to locate information on the internet for my students and my professors and my faculty. And that information at the time this was before the web, that information at the time was stored on FTP servers, file transfer protocol servers, and they were freely available. They were called anonymous FTP servers, and which meant that you could log in anonymously. You didn't have to have a signed login. And so I found myself going to these servers fairly regularly to try and locate information. And I finally realized that doing that manually was not only tedious, it wasn't very efficient. So I developed a set of scripts to retrieve the information, listings of what each server had, and store it on my local computer so I could search those listings locally rather than having to try and go through them remotely. Now, at the time, McGill's connection to the internet was 9600 baud. So I don't think anybody nowadays even understands how slow that is, but 9.6 kilobits a second. So pretty slow. So these scripts would operate at night when the internet wasn't being used very much. Now, remember, the internet was very small back in 1990. It was usually only universities and companies, corporations that were research organizations. So, IBM would have a research arm and they would be connected and so on. And people were mostly using it for email, not very much in the way of remote access, telnet, and that kind of thing. So I built this little script, and word got out that I had this information, and people started asking me to run searches on my local database for them. And we pretty soon realized that was not an efficient thing to do, because having me involved in doing manual searches was very inefficient. And so we built a little interface so that people could log in from remotely into the search and do the searches for themselves. And that we call that Archie, which is just archive without the V. And that's how it was launched I believe the date is September 11th, 1990. So 35 years ago now.